Hello YouTube, Flightsimguy here. I am at Kansas City International and today I'm flying to St. Louis, Missouri. It's been very warm here in the Midwest with a heavy breeze coming up from the south. And in fact, the weather um, here today, according to this, it's actually marginal VFR. So I have my plan here. It's only a 206-mile flight. And what I've noticed is whenever I pick up a new plane, I make a whole bunch of mistakes the first time, and the second time I fly it, I get better and better and better. In the case of the Xtremeprototype Learjet, I'm not going to use a checklist. I'm just going to go ahead and go through. I mean, the cockpit is small enough. I can cover everything with each respective pass for the various phases of flight, so I'm pretty confident with that. Um, it's only a 200-mile flight. I'm pretty sure I have enough gas. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's set the parking brake. Alright, parking brake probably is set. What I need to do, since P3D won't remember its settings, let's go to settings, and we want to show parking brake in the information and brakes. Alright, let's try this again. Control period. There it is. Alright. And what happened to my yoke? This is not right. But this plane, I mean, since MTEX and NVShade, it gives much better frames. I want to go ahead and give it a flight. However, this plane has a problem in P3D. You have to make a change to the prepared .cfg file. You have to set a parameter from 1 to 0, and I'm pretty sure that's what's causing this. But with the problems I'm having with P3D right now, it's not remembering its config settings. So every time you fire it up, it overwrites the CFG file, and the fixes you put in for this plane goes away. Normally, there's lines flashing everywhere, but in this case, I'm just losing my yoke, which is not a bad thing because I need access to things in front of it. So, all right, we'll go ahead and fly with this. All right, let's do battery master on. And let's go ahead and check our fuel status. Yep, got plenty of fuel. Well, actually not plenty, but enough to get me where I need to go. Alright, let's go ahead and work our way across. All this looks fine for now. Probably should go ahead and call. And let's get the ATIS. I already know what it is, but let me get it again.
Kansas City, airport information, Zulu 1450 Zulu, wind 208 at 15, visibility 17, sky condition, ceiling 1700, overcast, temperature 3, dew point -1, altimeter 2960, ILS, runway 19er right and ILS, runway 19er left in use. Landing and departing runway 19er right and runway 19er left. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have Zulu.
Alright. So, runway 19 left and runway 19 right. Alright, let's go ahead and get some things in order here. The wind's still coming up strong from the south. Two 960, and let's go ahead and cruise at we'll just go ahead and take it up to 30. Alright, our first VOR station. This is VOR to VOR navigation, folks. 114.0. Nav 1, and there's no swapping back and forth. 114.0.
1102 with Alpha, ready to taxi, IFR. 1102, taxi 2 and hold short.
There we go. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get this plane started and then call for departure. So, let's go ahead and turn on beacon light, turn on all the fuel pumps. Let's go ahead and reset this. this plane doesn't use an APU, so with the battery running, and it is a study sim, I need to get it started ASAP. So what we do next is start engine number 2. And I need to be able to see this little part down here to get the engine to light off. There we go. Alright, we got a good start on engine number 2. Let's do engine number 1. Okay, got a good light off on engine number 1, and I need to fix this. Alright, let's go through our after start checklist. Enable nose wheel steering. I'm going to go ahead and turn on windshield heat. Alright, let's come up here. Turn on our stall warning. Okay, here is... bit. Can't see it, but it's actually pointed 10. I want to keep it at about 6,000 feet. That auto. Give me some bleed. That auto. Okay, turn on our generators. Anti-skid on. Come on down here. It's a very fancy fuel management system with regards to managing the fuel, because the Learjet has a bunch of fuel tanks. Has a center tank, which is a backup, left and right fuel tank, which are the primary tanks, and left and right tip tanks, which are gravity feed the wing tanks, and the engine only draws from the wing tanks. All right, I think I'm ready to call. And we are going to the east. Alright, before we start taxiing, let's go through everything again. All my radios and heating systems. I'm going to turn on my pitot heat. The weather is bad here. Nose wing steering is enabled. Let's look at our annunciation. That's fine. Let's go ahead and arm the reverse thrusters. I don't think I'm going to need them. Okay. Alright. Alright, by the way, this plane, you can actually load up your own playlist. Left click. Right click turns it off. Did you know that Bill Lear, the designer of the Learjet, also invented the 8-track? Most people didn't know that. True story. The 8-track actually showed up in the plane before it showed up in the car. It actually made its way from the plane into the car. I'm not sure if he kept the 8-track business, since his primary business was aviation and not electronics. Alright, let's go ahead and tune the backup frequency also. 114 is the first VOR station we're flying to. That's ANX. The next one is COU at 110.2. So let's just go ahead and get that ready. Alright, let's get started, folks. If you notice, the Learjet does not have spoilerons. They only use ailerons. Very bizarre. Takes a little bit of engine thrust to get rolling. Looks like there might be a parking lot of some sort back there with the takeoffs, which is fine. Alright, so very tragic plane crash over the past week in Scottsdale, Arizona. Piper PA-24 Comanche went down, killing 6 people. Now you hear about GA crashes all the time, but this one really caught my attention. It's a very, very sad story. 6 people were on that plane, and they were all in their mid-20s. Okay, and I guess these were, really superstar go-getters, and dynamic. 3 of them were Instagram stars, and the pilot was 26 years old, had his ATP rating, instrument rating, instructor pilot rating, and he had every rating in the book. 4,500 hours flight time under his belt, and he flew every damn aircraft you can think of. All right, and he was an instructor pilot, 2,500 hours, and he taught people up to 25 different types of aircraft. And the year before the crash, he was flying all over the world in jets, everywhere. I mean, the guy was just an aviation superstar. Went to the University of South Dakota. There was such a thing. University. He went to the school in Dakota studying aviation management. And this guy was 26. All right. So when I read that, actually before I read his aviation resume, the first time I saw the crash, and I thought that the Comanche was a twin engine, twin piston, but I was wrong. And the second I saw what kind of plane it was and how many people were on the plane, I said I knew what happened. The plane was overweight. It took off and crashed 1 mile from the airport into a golf course, killing all 6. And the moment I saw the kind of plane it was and how many people, I immediately assumed that the plane was overweight, because I've heard this before. But when I read pilots' credentials, I'm like, there is no way a pilot that experienced could have made such a basic rookie mistake. And it was just sad. I mean, 6 beautiful young people, and like I said, the pilot, his credentials, there's no way he could make such a simple mistake. But whenever you hear incidents of a plane crashing just after takeoff in VFR conditions, okay, it's usually one or 2 things, or 1 or 3 things. The first one is overweight. The weight and balance was all screwed up. That's how Aaliyah died. They had a half-assed pilot flying them out of Bahamas. They were shooting a music video, and this guy, I read his credentials, and this guy was just like, he had no business being a pilot. The plane was way overweight and crashed and killed everybody. Engine trouble is the next thing. But usually if there's engine trouble, witnesses often report, hey, the plane was having engine trouble, it was sputtering or whatever. And the third thing has to do with a combination of flap settings. If it's a jet and they don't use the proper flap settings, it will stall immediately after takeoff. Overweight. Plane is carrying too much stuff and the weight and balance is all screwed up. And airport elevation. I guess a lot of pilots forget that when you're higher up, your stall speed is a lot lower. It takes a lot more power to get off the ground. The wings aren't as efficient providing lift because the air is so much thinner. And some pilots forget to lean the plane, or they totally forget that being high up has a serious impact on getting into the air. Anyway, so I said to myself, such a rookie mistake. Hard to believe that such an experienced pilot with such a fantastic resume could make such a simple mistake. But when they do the investigation, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the findings. If you think about it, 6 adults in a PA-24, the Comanche, is a single engine piston. It's a small plane. You're pushing your luck there. I'd be nervous flying forward with 6. And from a high elevation airport, I think you're just asking for trouble there. So anyway, I'm not a real pilot, so I don't have any position to say anything. Alright, before takeoff, let's go ahead and turn on landing lights, turn off taxi lights, turn on, my pitot heat is on. I can go ahead and call. Okay, another plane is coming, so. Yeah, that Airbus is coming in. Let's do my takeoff briefing. I'm going to depart runway 190, fly runway heading to about 5,000, and then I'm going to come right to 112 and go up to 30,000 and just follow my course. Nice.
Learjet 4, X-ray Papa, acknowledge last transmission.
Damn it.
Hold short, runway 19 right, Learjet.
I'm in takeoff config. I'm just going to do a rolling takeoff. Let's get rolling. Okay, rotate. Also, I've already determined my V1 and rotate speed, so. Okay, positive rate, gear up. Alright. Alright, immediately after taking off, gotta bring the throttle back to about 75%. Okay, we are passing 3,000 feet above the ground, flaps up. Speeding already. Okay, let the plane gain some altitude. Down. Alright, coming left to 112. We are clean, gear up, flaps up. Let's go ahead and get this thing tuned. Overspeeding again. Off the gas. Alright, we're going to want our speed. You can't see it, but there's a bug there. There is a speed bug there. All the way at the top. Okay, we're going to want our speed to be about right there. Okay. Let's get this on course.
International ground 1864, request taxi to parking. 1864, taxi to General Aviation parking. The taxiway is outlined as Kilo Charlie 6, Charlie Charlie 8 Delta Lima Mike 1 Alpha 9 Bravo Bravo 2 Hotel Alpha 1.
We are going to turn on the autopilot.
General Aviation parking.
Whoa! Frames! Behave yourself. On the pilot. Autopilot on. Vertical speed of about 1,000. And we want heading. Okay, this plane doesn't want to decide where it wants to go. Actually, we want localizer. Alright. Alright. For the love of God. Doesn't take much for this plane to overspeed. Let's increase our vertical speed. Just keep increasing the vertical speed until it goes away. Seriously, I'm barely 50%. Wow. There we go. Alright, we're on course. We are 20 miles. So we probably should go ahead and once we get there, the other VOR station is the next one. That's going to be heading 088. Alright, so since this is a relatively short flight, I'll just make it one quick video. Alright, speed's coming down. I can lower my vertical speed. And it looks like the plane's having a hard time flying this radio. But according to the weather, it's very turbulent and very gusty, so the plane's probably getting blown about, and it's probably doing its thing, trying to find the best course to fly. So yeah, this plane, I mean, it looks good, flies like a fighter jet. Just gotta watch the overspeed. Of course, I'm using the Air Force livery. And in case you guys forgot, there is a virtual cabin. That's nicely modeled too. Alright, so what I need to do is turn on that, because I'm not yet tuned in to that VOR station, and I need to know when I get there. Okay, it's going to overspeed. Come back off the gas. And since I'm flying VOR to VOR, I need to know when to start my descent. Alright, so I'm waiting for this bad boy to come alive. Now, it's entirely possible that the terrestrial navigation information may have changed, because the information in FSX is obsolete. Ah, here we go. Just came alive. We're 60 miles out, so this thing should start beeping at me. There it goes. And we are a little bit off course. Nav, and we'll turn this off. There we go. So it's going to be 50 miles to get to that VOR station, and it's 29 miles from FTZ to CSX. CSX is the VOR station on field at St. Louis. So 29. So what I need to do is tune in to the VOR station at St. Louis, which is 116.45, and manage my rate of descent based on that. There we go. Turn here. Localizer. 100 miles out, and I'm at 30,000 feet. Time to start my descent. Alright, we are heading straight towards St. Louis. Okay, I don't need to hear you anymore. So, I need to start planning my arrival. 108. COM 125.02. Let's go ahead and dial 18,000. And I never set 2992. Let's go ahead and do that right now. And we want to come down at 1600 feet per minute, 2600 feet per minute, and we'll idle the engines. Now we only get that warning whenever the engines are idle, and it's very annoying. I'm trying to figure out how do I turn that off. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, it's not stall. That's good. There we go. Horn silence. Woohoo! Figured that out. That was so annoying. Alright, so we're doing a power off glide, or idle glide. Coming into St. Louis, 98 miles out. Let me double check the ATIS frequency. There we go.
Charlie 15410, wind 190 at 15. Visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky conditions ceiling 1,300 broken. Temperature 17.14. Altimeter 2965. ILS runway 12 right. ILS runway 12 left. Landing and departing runway 12 right. Runway 12 left. If our aircraft see direction of flight, all aircraft read back with short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact to Charlie.
Winds 19015. Temperature and dew point is 3 degrees apart, so we're on the edge of fog. We are 64 miles out. Alright, we're 10,000 feet. And we are below 2050 knots. Let me go ahead and... Alright, let's turn on the landing lights. And looks like we're in fog. We have our P3D heat on, that's fine. Oh yeah. Crap, that's precipitation, folks. That is precipitation. Cell heat, stabilizer heat. Turning on all my icing systems. There we go. Just to be safe.
Runway 12 left, altimeter 2964.
Make straight in, runway 12 left, United 7993.
St. Louis Tower, northwest 1461 at runway 12 right, ready for takeoff. IFR to Minneapolis. Northwest 1461, short, runway 12 right. Traffic is Bombardier Alpha. Northwest 1461, taxi into position and hold.
Alright,
Position and hold. Northwest
landing checklist.
1461.
Got flaps. We are on the ILS. Slowing down too much. Let's go ahead and set a speed here. Bug is nearly invisible. We'll make 140 our maneuvering speed. Slowing down too much. This right here is the most important gauge in the entire cockpit. Angle of attack indicator. Once you get to the yellow, that means you're about to fall out of the sky. Alright. We are on the ILS. We're about to capture. Landing lights on. Spoilers armed.
Runway 12 right. Cleared for takeoff. Runway 12 right. Northwest 1461. United 7993. Turn next taxiway. United 7993. Cleared to land. Runway 12 left.
Cleared to land, runway 12 left, United 7993.
Northwest 1461. Contact St. Louis departure on 124.2.
124.2 for Northwest 1461.
Alright, we're on the ILS. Captured. Gear down. I have 2 more stages of flaps to go. Probably should arm. And that's good.
St. Louis Tower, United 7993 is 32 miles northwest.
Flaps 20.
ILS, runway 12 left approach. United 7993, St. Louis Tower, make straight in, runway 12 left, altimeter 296.
clear to land.
12, right. Learjet 4, X-ray Papa.
Fly straight in, runway 12.
Now I'm flying into a headwind. That tells me I shouldn't have to use full flaps. Okay, think about that for a second.
Tower, 529er.
The extra speed of the wind coming into your nose of your airplane compensates for the lift that you get from your extra flaps. In reality, you should not need to use extra flaps coming into a headwind. In fact, you're better off not doing it. You want to come in at a steeper angle. That way, when you get blown off the course for the runway, you have more altitude to make corrections. Having said that, I'm at flaps 20. I'm going to leave it at flaps 20.
Runway 12, right. 529er 6.
I'm going to have to take over from the autopilot much shorter than planned, or much quicker than planned. That airport looks pretty sweet. I don't recall buying scenery for this. Before Envitex, I'd be in the single digits right now. Envitex is a frame savior.
United 7, 3, turn next taxiway.
Okay, autopilot coming off pretty soon. Wow. Should be a go around, but I can save this. Okay, it's a go around.
Contact ground on 121.65.
You're up.
121.65, United 7, 3. Going around, Learjet 4, X-ray Papa.
Learjet 4, X-ray Papa. Copy. Go around.
Flaps up.
Inbound ILS. Runway 12, right. Approach. Southwest 589er from St. Louis Tower. Make straight in. Runway 12, flight. Altimeter 2965. Fly straight in. Runway 12, right. Southwest 589er. Southwest 589er. Cleared to land. Runway 12, flight. Follow Learjet on final. Caution the Embraer jet landing. Runway 12, left. Cleared to land. Runway 12, right. Southwest 589er.
Seven.
United 7, 3, turn next taxiway.
Can't tell what my trim is.
St. Louis Tower, Delta 9er, 692, altitude 1 mile, northwest inbound ILS, runway 12, right approach. Delta 9er, 692, St. Louis Tower, fly straight in, runway 12, flight, altimeter 2963. Make straight in, runway 12, right, Delta 9er, 692. United 7, 3, turn next taxiway. St. Louis Tower, Skywest 6 to 33, ready to go, runway 12, right, IFR, clear it. Skywest 6 to 33, short, runway 12, right, traffic is Learjet on final. United 7, 3, contact
Show's
ground
on
on
final.
121.65. Going to 121.65, United 7, 3. Short runway 12, right. Skywest 6 to 33.
Insert. Flaps one.
Go around.
There's a plane coming in right there. Just follow him.
Going around. Southwest 589er.
This might not be the best idea.
Southwest 589er.
Flying to his wake.
Contact St. Louis approach on 124.2. Niner.
Just follow that guy. Go, you're down. Just follow that guy. And there's our guard. Nope.
Delta Niner 692, cleared to land. Runway 12 flight. All the aircraft on final. Cleared to land. Runway 12 right. Delta Niner 692.
Just check the fuel status. Got fuel. Not much fuel. But I don't think I'm going to be doing another go around. Okay. Altimeter setting 2965. Double check. That is good. Alright, we're on a decent approach. We're not getting bounced around too bad this time. Okay, what the hell's this thing doing? Alright, autopilot. Controls off. Autopilot's coming off. Okay. I'm gonna have to do manually. Okay, flaps 20.
St. Louis Tower, FedEx 7467, ready to go. Runway 12 left, IFR rear. FedEx 7467, cleared for takeoff. Runway 12 left. Caution for RJ taking off. Runway 12 flight. Cleared for takeoff. Runway 12 left, FedEx 7467. Delta Niner 692, go around. Going around. Delta Niner 692. Delta Niner 692. Contact St. Louis approach on 124.2. 124.2. Delta Niner 692. St. Louis Tower, Delta 2044, ready to go. Runway 12 flight, IFR consulting. Delta 2044, shore. Runway 12 flight, traffic is Learjet on final. Shore, runway 12 flight, Delta 2044.
I have enough fuel for now to go around, so this is gonna be it.
FedEx 7467, contact St. Louis departure on 124.2. 124.2, FedEx 7467.
Alright, there you have it, folks.
Learjet 46 Papa, exit runway when able.
Okay, this is obviously not a stock airport. Or maybe it is. I don't recall buying the scenery. Flaps up. Alright, so I have invisible yoke. But you know, it was worth it. Env text and env shade, as long as you don't have the problem that I have where it forgets, where P3D forgets its configuration settings, is well worth the money because my frames have improved remarkably. There's no way I could have landed at a runway like this with the frame rates that I got. Alright folks, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day right here. I'm not going to power everything down because I want to get some replays. But this was definitely a better flight compared to the previous one. So I'm very pleased with my performance. I hope you guys found this video entertaining. My name is Flightsimguy. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.